And welcome to the KYCA Talks program. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, everyone in television land today. We're thrilled to be here. This is a special program of the KYCA Talks 8 a.m. show. Lisa Live will be on in an hour. Honest, it'll be okay. But we're going to be doing this one on television as well because it's our annual show concerning the Phippen Museum Art, Western Art Show, which is coming out Memorial Day weekend. We try to promote that as much as we can. And we're thrilled to be on the air also with some of our favorite people in the whole wide world. They're here too. Bill and Mary Nebeker are here. So you can see them.
Thanks, Jason.
Aren't they? Don't they look tanned, rested, and ready for this morning? I swear. But thanks for coming out, folks. And, of course, next to me over here, we've got Ed Kellerman from the Phippen Museum. Ed, thanks for coming out again on short notice.
It's always a pleasure. Starting to be an annual tradition around here. So.
Yeah, I know.
Sounds like a good idea.
And I hate to interrupt you when you're so busy out there getting ready for the show.
That's okay. This is all part of it, too, right? We want people, as many people that we can get out supporting the museum and the artists that are coming from all across the nation. So
all right,
we appreciate it very much.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Now, folks, if you're just tuning in on radio, of course, you're welcome to call in 928-541-1016. But also, we're on Facebook. We're on our website. We're doing a special on-camera show this morning, so be sure to tune in. And if you're traveling and out and about, don't pick up the phone and try and watch, as tempting as it is. Just watch later. It'll be on our archives. It'll be out there for a while. So you folks get to watch yourselves. Isn't that great?
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate that.
First of all, real quick, a little bit of business, and I wanted to kind of expand on this. We're sorry that you missed Cal Corda's celebration of life. You were in Texas, you said.
Yeah.
What a man. And Ed, you were there, thank goodness.
I was. He was a mentor of mine. He was an icon in this town and meant a great deal to a lot of people in our class. Class of 1982, PHS. We adored him, and we weren't the only ones. So
Bill and I were he's from 61 and I'm from 65, and he was my. It sounds funny, but because he was a coach, everybody knows Coach Cal Cordes. I was a pom-pom girl, and he was the sponsor, the teacher sponsor of our group. So he was at all the practices. Poor guy, he had to put up with us silly 16, 17-year-old girls. Well, but I swear, it didn't matter how long. Well, it's been 60 years since I was in school. Mm-hmm. And every time we saw him in town, hey, girl, you still kick those legs or whatever. And he remembered everything. And last year
always
at the
come up and grab you.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
Those big giant hugs, man. He was a wonderful man.
I told people, I said, you didn't understand the power of the man until you really met him and you got the handshake, you know? And I swear, I told Kelly this not too long ago, even at 95, I think if I met him in an alley, he could take me, to be honest. Yeah. He was one tough, wonderful individual, though.
Amazing
that's for sure.
human. And a blessing for this town.
He was. And we're looking forward to hearing more from Kelly over the years as time goes on, because he's been thinking a lot about his dad. To be 70 and still have your dad around.
Gosh.
That was something.
And we were fortunate enough at the Phippen to induct his brother Henry into the Arizona Rancher and Cowboy Hall of Fame at our fall gathering last September.
That's right.
He attended with Kelly, and he chimed in every chance he had with the pictures to tell everybody about
correct Kelly.
Oh, yeah, exactly how it was. So he was still with it. It seems right up until the end.
It would have been 2 years ago at the Prescott High School half-century clubs. Mm-hmm. He was there. Bill and I weren't there last year. But, I mean, you would go up to him and you'd start to talk and he'd say, well, now I can't really see you, but you got to, I know the voice. Come give me a hug. And he was in his wheelchair, but what a man.
What a man. That's for sure. All right, let's move on to business now. Thank you very much. By the way, if anybody, and I just pointed this out to you folks, anybody who missed the celebration of life, we have it on our website, kyca.info, still there. It was about 2 hours long, and every minute was absolutely wonderful. Mm-hmm. So be sure to, if you haven't seen it, be sure to do so. Okay, we're talking about the Phippen Art Museum and the Western Art Show, excuse me.
Yep.
Ed, fill us in. What's happening this year?
51st annual, starting another half-century tradition here in downtown Prescott. Yep. More artists than we've seen in the last 15 years, as far as I can tell.
So exciting.
97 artists this year.
Oh, great.
Wow. We've been pivoting to the digital process for getting artists signed up and juried into the show. I think that's kind of improved our numbers. We've got a little bit younger crowd this year, 27 brand new artists to the show.
Great.
So, and just a variety of artists, 8 different mediums. We're just looking forward to it. Lots going on with that weekend as well. Not just the show with the artists and booths, but lots of ancillary events as well.
A little barn dance thing and stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. Hometown Hoedown on Saturday, May 24th. It's an artist meet and greet dinner. About 40 to 50 of the artists will be there, so you can come and meet the artists. Our Miniature Masterpiece show is up right now through the month of May, 22nd annual. So you'll be able to look at the pieces there too as well. We got Western entertainment, a Southwest dinner, dancing, and just a regular good time. Lots of food, friends, and fine arts, like the way we. Like
there you go. How stringent is the jury process these days? I know it's just getting harsher, but yet we've got people who are some amazing artists who are getting into the show.
You know, we have different jurors every year, so that's why I encourage artists who maybe have been rejected on this year to keep trying, keep playing their work, and try again next year. Sometimes gallery owners, obviously a couple of professional artists each year. But it is strictly done. I mean, we're very careful about. This is a fine art show, so and then there is a fine balance between bringing up and coming artists with established artists. That's what makes our show great. It's a combination of both. But I think that we're a real great kickstart for those up and coming artists that are trying to find representation, trying to get their artwork out in front of the public, and I think the Fippen is just the perfect venue for that.
Well, and I want to say something, because Bill and I were we were on the committee that created the Fippen Western Art Show back in 1974.
Right.
And Louise was at the meetings, and Ernie Fippen was at the meetings then, Bill and I, and a lot of local artists. But her goal was what she said was George's goal, to give an opportunity to young starting up artists to have a place to begin to show their art, have the galleries from Scottsdale and museums and everything come around, and buyers, and see their art along with the established art. It was very, very important to George and Louise to introduce people to new young artists and keep this genre going.
Right. But it seems to me also that regardless of the age and regardless of the experience, you've got some fantastic artists who are down there.
Absolutely.
And I think to a lot of people, you can't really tell the difference in terms of a newcomer as opposed to somebody who's been there for a while, simply because of the quality of work that's being done all around.
And that's what we're hoping for sure.
Yeah.
That's the goal. It is a fine art show, and the Fippen Museum art show separates itself from other events for that very reason.
Yep. And Bill, so what have you got coming? We wanted to talk about this piece just a little bit. Is this one of those you're going to be featuring this year there?
Yes, this piece will be in the show.
Okay, so let's take a look at it. I'm going to have Andrew come in and hang in there, folks. It's live radio and or television. So tell us a little bit about this piece, because you brought this in, and this struck me immediately among everything that you've brought in before. Tell us about this.
Well, this is a historical piece. Every now and then, I do a lot of traditional cowboy work and that thing. But every now and then, I like to go back in history and create a character from the real old-time West. This is a sheriff from the 1880s, and of course he's hot on the trail of a horse thief or a bank robber or whatever, and he's got his Model 92 Winchester and going full bore. And I kind of had a play on words for the title. I called it The Long Arm of the Law, which he has a long arm in his hands, but it also, the long arm of the law reaches out for you. So just people have really, really been drawn to this piece. They like it really well.
One thing I've noticed about Western art and also novels and everything, you got to get everything right, and particularly when you're dealing with firearms. And that's,
absolutely, absolutely, yes.
And so this is, what model did you say?
It's a Model 92 Winchester.
All right. And about that time period,
yes.
1880s, something around that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Previous to that was the 97.
Okay. Fantastic piece of artwork. And it just really struck me. And this is something you came up with last year? Is that right? 2024?
Yeah, it was last year.
About 2024?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, this is what a good example of what you're going to see downtown. And I imagine you folks are going to have a tent down there this
Oh,
year
yeah,
too.
we've got a tent. Our kids, thank goodness, our kids help us. We can't carry all of them anymore. We've been doing it for almost, not quite 50 years, but since 1975. And there was about 8 years in the 80s when Bill got into the Cowboy Arts of America that we couldn't figure out how to do both. We were new. And but our kids and grandkids come and set up the tent and carry all the bronzes, and then we get there and then they come back on Monday evening and take it all down again.
So I'm thinking that if there is ever another show at the Fippen that is Bill's show, it's not going to be you running around the country picking up pieces and trying to bring them back.
I would love to do it, but I doubt if I could do it back then. I would send my son and daughter-in-law.
There you go.
I have to correct myself before we get a phone call. I don't know where I came up with a 97. It's a 73.
73.
Winchester.
Oh, that's right. Okay, Winchester 73.
Where 97 came from, I have no idea. So.
Well, we're getting further and further from the era, so things start to jumble up a little bit, Bill. But that's a fantastic piece, by the way. And appreciate everything that you folks have done for this community, for the artistic community as well. Yeah. And I think George Fippen be thrilled to have you around too. You did meet him one time, correct?
I never got
I
to
thought you
meet the
did.
gentleman.
I thought you had when you
get to meet the gentleman.
We went to his show that was at a bank on Cortez Street in 1964.
It was called Pioneer Bank. A private bank was on.
But
Cortez
Bill was
Street.
too shy to go up and talk to him. He and all the people were off overlooking at the paintings. Mostly the Walker Party was unveiled that day.
Yeah.
That's now, I think, at the library. And his folks and I were over there looking at that, and we looked around, where's Bill? And he's overlooking at bronze sculptures, which nobody seemed interested in because of the beautiful paintings. And I remember him going, how do they carve that? He couldn't fit, because he used to carve wood.
And George is, in the same sense, uplifting young artists, those kinds of things, is the authenticity, right? I mean,
absolutely.
The cowboy artists were established in the same vein
because
as
of the
Russell, right?
Russell and Remington.
And so the being authentic is what George appreciated the most about folks that looked at his artwork. He'd always say that when a cowboy'd come over and say, "Hey, you got that just right. That's
absolutely.
the right. Those are the right chaps. Those are the right.
Well,
trappings."
that is the same feeling today in the Cowboy Arts of America. It's only the tradition has stayed.
Yeah.
That it was more important to have a cowboy say, "Boy, you got that right," than it was to have a art critic say, "That's a nice piece."
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, I think you figured out how to carve it out. That's for sure. So, all right, I'll tell you what. We're going to take our first break. KYCA morning show. We've got the Nebekers here. We've got Ed Kellerman from the Fippen Museum. We're thrilled to have everybody here. We got a whole lot more to go over. And folks, get a paper and pencil and get ready to take some notes later on. Mary's got plenty of stuff to talk about what's coming up here in Prescott, and Ed's got a lot to talk about too.
Absolutely.
All the time. So we'll be back after this, and KYCA Talks. And we're back here on the KYCA Talks program. Good morning, everybody. We're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed this morning here at KYCA Studios, and we've got Bill and Mary Nebeker. We've got Ed Kellerman from the Fippen. Folks, thank you so much for coming out. I know it's a busy time of year, and it's getting busier now. I told you to take notes, folks. You're going to need to over the next couple minutes here. Mary came in with a whole bunch of information on what's happening because we got a bunch of stuff happening. Now, I saw this over at the home show a few weeks ago, but the police foundation, has been working real hard to sell raffle tickets. So tell us a little bit about that, Mary.
Well, they're having a dinner. An event, a fundraiser event at the new Augies up at the old mall, and it's for the Prescott Police Foundation. And I didn't know, but today on the front page of the Courier, there was a wonderful long article about it, and that foundation raises funds for all of the training of the dogs, of the services that they give the police, of in buildings they need, and besides what the taxes do, all of the extra things that police need, their support, their psychiatry, all the things that they need, it does. And so Sherry Hanna, who's been a friend of mine forever, and her wonderful husband, we knew them all, our kids all went to school together. She called one day and said, "We need help. Can I come over?" And we said, "Come on over." And she wanted to know if she could use this Bill's Bronze, the small one of Lest We Forget, which is the Yavapai County Fallen Officers Memorial downtown on the courthouse. And so we said, yeah. She took it with her, and they've been running this fundraiser. The tickets are $100 a piece. They're selling only 150 tickets, but that will bring in a good amount for the Police Foundation. And I don't know. I forgot to call Sherry this morning whether they still have seats available, but you can look up the Prescott Police Foundation online, and I'm sure this is advertised because I saw it. Yep. And I can't turn my head around because I don't know what it says as far as the cost of the dinner, but if anybody can call and buy a ticket for the raffle.
All right, let me take a look here. The phone number is 777-1900, extension 5611, I think. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
You're better at it than me.
I don't know. You know what? I'm sorry, folks. We just want to make sure we get this right. Okay, yeah, 928-777-1900, extension 5611. I just had my eyes checked. So what can I say? If that didn't do it, I don't know what will.
Yeah, that's
all right. But Bill, I have to say this statue downtown, which I think is your first one on the courthouse. Is that right?
Yes.
Again, it's one of those that people stop and appreciate to a great extent, not just for the memorial, but for the statue itself. I hear that all the time downtown. And where did you get the idea for this? Tell us about that.
Well, I am extremely honored to have been involved with this and been asked to do this. And I had several meetings with the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department. And they told me they just wanted a tribute piece, fallen officers. And so this was my idea. And my idea was to have this as a 1880s to 90, what a territorial sheriff would look like at the time. And I wanted him to be looking at a pair of empty boots. They kind of came up with the idea of the empty boot idea. So I put together a maquette that I built up and showed it to them, and they just thought it was fantastic. So then we did an enlargement, and he's like 8 feet tall.
Yep.
Life and a quarter. And boy, what an honor for me to be on the plaza, if anything else.
And the meaning of
the meaning of this piece as to what it was for.
Yep.
And they put up they put up the names of the officers that have been fallen in line of duty in Arizona. It's quite something to look at because the first 2 officers, deputies, sheriffs that were killed by Apache Indians. You know, this country was wild, you know.
And then the last
Apache
one.
raid, the last raid was in like 1905 or something like that.
Right. Remain that way.
And the sad part was that a year to the day when they had the second ceremony there was like 2 weeks after Richard Lopez
Yes.
Yeah.
was killed in the line of duty, and Kim and her family were there, of course, her daughters, and it was just like it went 25 years without an officer in Yavapai County having lost his life in the line of duty.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I'd like to say is that the Police Foundation, I'm not sure if it was this one or another one, had a dinner honoring Kim after several months. And Bill and I were able to give her one of these. So she has one of those in her home that she will always
have. And I'm sure treasure.
And
that's fantastic.
She's quite a woman. And now she runs our rodeo, Kim Lopez.
That's right.
Woo!
That's right. She is something. And so, folks, if you haven't seen it downtown, get downtown and take a look. And so the raffle is May 21st is going to be the selection. I got my ticket.
Oh,
so,
good. We'll be there.
So we're looking forward to that. And also, let's see, how much time do we have? We don't have a whole lot of time here at the bottom of the hour real quick. So what we're going to do is when we come back, I want to talk more about what's coming with the Frank Shankowitz.
Yes, the Make-A-Wish founder.
That's going to be coming up soon. We talked about this about a year ago, and that's going to be coming soon. And Ed, we're not going to forget you. You're still here.
I'm enjoying myself. This is always fun.
Oh, well, and we're thrilled. We love to get out to the museum. If I remember right, also very quickly, Memorial Day weekend is free time at the museum.
Absolutely, free admission to the show, free admission to the museum all weekend long. So extended hours open on Monday as well. Oh. So, yeah, and here's your chance to come out to the museum.
And one tradition of my wife and I is we go down to the courthouse. We see, and yes, I've purchased a painting or two. They're just gorgeous stuff. And then we always stop at the museum on the way home.
There you go.
Always have to.
Perfect tradition.
Yep. So there you go. There's your Memorial Day weekend all mapped out, folks. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here on KYCA, so stay with us. The Nebekers are here. Ed Kellerman's here. I mean, how else are you going to spend your morning, really? I mean, seriously, you're going to go to work with all this going on? No, of course not. So be able to tune in. And by the way, if you're listening on the radio, of course, you can tune in on Facebook and our website, kyca.info, and be able to see this program in its entirety in living color anytime you want to. So that way you get a good look at the statue and everything else that's going on, and you'll see that, yes, we actually got everybody up out of bed this early. So we'll be back after this here on KYCA. And we're back here on the KYCA Talks program. Jason Zinzilieta with you here on this beautiful, gorgeous, although windy, May morning. And we're just a few weeks removed from Memorial Day and the Western Heritage Art Show. 51 years, was that right, Ed?
This is the 51st annual show.
51st annual.
Yep. 10 years. The museum didn't open until 10 years after the first art show. So
1983, I think.
Switched around. But
now it's growing. And
84.
84.
Now it's grown into what it is now.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for, 100,000 square foot annex off to one side. That's just,
there are talk about expansion plans at the FIPA Museum for sure. We've in 2012 we opened. We're 17,000 plus square feet now.
Right.
So yes, but there's talk about expansion projects at the FIPA Museum. So. Well, yeah, that's
okay.
That's
go
coming
ahead.
up. But we're investing in our permanent collection room. So a little bit here, we're gonna let folks in to see what we've been able to do. But
fantastic.
We're still finishing up that project. So stay tuned for that.
All right, we'll keep that under for now. That's okay.
Can I say something about what?
Sure.
Well, it's beyond my control now.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows that they're going to do enlargement around Granite Dells, through Granite Dells.
Yes.
And the FIPA Museum is stuck right in the middle of it. When all of that happens, we don't know when, but in the next year or so, I would presume. So I'm asking people, I've been on the board and involved in the FIPN for 51 years. And I guess they call me advisor. I'm not a very active one, but
director.
The FIPA needs all the people that Bill and I know. That I know you're in town and you're in Scottsdale and you're everywhere. Friends of ours from high school and from business. The FIPN Museum needs to have some more members, and you all have been out there for different exhibits, different shows. You've been to the FIPN show downtown on the courthouse, and the memberships are important to support that museum. So we need to have people, individuals, it costs $50 a person, and that's like $4 a month or some silly thing. And then for a family, it's $80. They have some larger membership fees if you want to do groups and a benefit of it. And then just you get, with all of that little bit of money, you get entrance free into all of the opening of the each new exhibit, and there's at least 4 or 5 every year. You get free the first crack at all the tickets for all the other events, the Rancher and Cowboy Hall of Fame, all of the ones that are so fun that Bill and I enjoy going to. And we just, personally, our family wants to invite you to get involved and to help the FIPN Museum stay alive. It's been there since 1984, and it's such a treasure for our community.
Yep. Bless you, Mary. Thank you very much. I agree.
Yeah. I agree. We all
I know
agree.
I'm biased, but yes, I agree.
All right. Very quickly, a phone number for people to call so that they can start the process.
Well, you can always call the museum at 928-778-1385, or you can look us up online at fippenartmuseum.org. You can also shop with us online at shopfippen.org. So there's a couple of different ways to get in touch with us, but you can do your membership online as well at that address. So.
All right, looking forward to that. I've got to re-up our membership. I'm sorry. I apologize. I do apologize.
Well, good.
I forgot.
Let's hope this has an impact, because the FIPN really does need the extra help. Again, we were talking about the construction coming up on 89, and that's really going to have an impact on the traffic through the museum. So we want to be thinking about that before we get to that point. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I thank anybody that's considering doing that. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. So let's talk a little bit. Let's get started on Mr. Shankowitz here. Now, this is something that we've been discussing. This was approved about a year ago, I believe.
A year ago in April.
And how are we progressing on this? What are we going to be doing? Bill, your thoughts on things so far?
Well, this is a friend of mine. We went all through the end of junior high, all through high school together, Frank Shankowitz. And he, after school, he was in the Air Force, and then after he got out of that, he came back. He became a motorcycle officer in the Phoenix area. And Frank was involved in the first young boy that was dying of cancer. The little boy was fascinated with the Chips series, of the TV series Chips. He just absolutely loved that. And Frank and another officer went by to visit him in the hospital, and it perked him up to where the doctors said that he actually lived longer than they thought he would because of the excitement he had. He became an honorary member. They had a little motorcycle made for him and a complete, authentic uniform.
Yep.
And that started Make-A-Wish. And Frank was he married that
No, they
time?
were just dating then.
They were dating time, anyway, and his wife-to-be, they got together with a couple of others, and they put together the foundation of Make-A-Wish. They started Make-A-Wish.
Wow.
And Frank was involved for many years, and he became an ambassador. He would go all over the world and talk about Make-A-Wish. So Frank has passed away, a very sad situation for me and his friends, but we've all got together and decided that we need to do a statue, bust of Frank Shankwitz for the downtown plaza.
And the city approved it, and I believe the county has approved it.
The county didn't need to approve it. We went to them first, and when they said they weren't going to do another statue on the plaza, so then we went. It was Joe Baines again that helped us get this organized, and we went to the city and went first to the Arts and Public Places Committee, and they okayed it, and then we got to the city council, and they said they did have a property around the edges of the plaza towards the street that is city property.
Oh.
And I didn't know that, and I've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
And
on the Cortez side.
It's on the Cortez side where there's a couple benches right there. I think there used to be a bus stop, or maybe they still use it.
Right.
And
the city owns
so
that.
there's like 20 by 20 foot area, and so they agreed to put it there right at the corner, basically, it's going to be Bill's going to make a life and a quarter size bust from about his waist or a little higher up. And Frank always tipped his hat when he met anybody, and when he was speaking for Make-A-Wish, his license plate became Wishman. That's what we call it. He was the Wishman.
He was the Wishman.
And he met kids all over the world that he helped raise funds for. And then years later, they would look him up. We had an event at the Yavapai County Fair one year selling tickets for a raffle or a bronze that Bill had donated for Make-A-Wish. And I think there was 3 families that were grown young people, like 16 or 18, that had thought they were going to die, but because of the wish, they got to go to Disneyland, or they got to become a fireman, or they got to do whatever they did. And Frank was amazing. I know the thought I had when he died, this is my own personal opinion. We went to his memorial, of course, and I sort of had this picture in my head that he was met at the gates of heaven by thousands of little kids running up to him. That's what I see about Frank, and that's why I'm involved. I'm very close friends with his widow, Kitty Shankwitz. And so we are having some, besides this, and this drawing here is by Steve Atkinson, who's, of course, well-known in the press
artist.
community. He was generous enough to make this small. It's a much bigger rendition, but I just had this. And so Bill is using the design. We're not going to have the wooden base. It's going to be a granite boulder to match our courthouse, and it's hopefully be done by sometime next year. But we're having a few fundraisers. One of them that's coming up in June 27th, is, and I forgot this.
Robert Aragon.
Aragon, yes,
Robert
Mr. Aragon. He's been at the Elks before, and he's going to do Waylon Jennings, which, of course, this is just 2 days before the rodeo starts. So it's all, the tickets are, I think they're only $30 a piece, and it's going to be so exciting. They've already sold, the Elks has already sold like 3/4 of the tickets. So if you haven't got them, you better go.
Yep.
And all of the funds that we make, and the guy that's doing it, Mr. Aragon, is going to donate part of his fee. And we are just so excited. We've got another thing coming up in August that's going to be the film that Frank had made of his life and how he started Make-A-Wish. And it's going to be at the old Prescott High School, what I call Prescott High School Hendricks Auditorium. It's Granite Mountain Middle School. But in August, I can't remember the date, but there's time. We were going to show this movie. And it was premiered at Yavapai College just before Frank died. So we've got a lot of events, and I hope people come.
All right. We're going to have to take a quick break. We went a little over. We're okay.
Sorry.
Don't worry, folks. No. There was plenty. Don't worry, Mary. I'm just stepping aside for all you folks. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after this. We're back here on the KYCA Talks program. I keep wanting to say PM because I have you folks here, in the afternoon, but it's early morning, folks. We're trying to. I'm glad I got you guys up. The Nebekers are here, Bill and Mary, and of course Ed Kellerman from Fippen. I'll get it out. I'll remember this. We're kind of running up against the clock, so real quick, I just wanted to go around the room very quickly and say what the Western Art Show and the Fippen means for those of us who are just part of the community. Because for years we'd drive by the Fippen and we'd stop occasionally and see, but we didn't understand the influence that it had and the influence that our old Prescott had on it, for that matter, the ranches and the community that was here beforehand. And I am afraid that kind of life has kind of been pushed out. And even though and there's a new West that's taking over. And this kind of brings it all home as to where we came from and where we started. Is that kind of a motivator for you, Bill? Is that just a little bit?
Oh, sure.
I mean, because you work the ranches around here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm very fortunate to be. I had horses. I roped. I got to participate in a lot of ranch work. I got to team rope. So I kind of lived part of the life that I portray.
Just near, I wouldn't say the end, but as things were really starting to transition.
Right. You can see it in artwork itself. There's a different style of Western artwork that is showing up, more modernistic to some extent, and that's just the way the world goes.
Yeah, it's still good to see something new that brings back all the old artwork from the past many years and everything. Because when I look at something like this, that's Western art to me. I see some of the newer things, and it's wonderful, and it's great to celebrate it. But that's just my opinion.
Well,
so.
we still have the roots here. We still have the KYCA. We still have the ORO way out Williamson Valley Road. We still have the
Las Vegas,
the Pierces, the 7-Up,
yep.
And there's many others and then we have several of community ranches that are involved with donating to the FIPN and participating, that are beef producers, grass-fed beef producers that we have around. And I always say Bill was the cheapest help all the ranchers could have, because he could rope a calf's leg and drag it to the fire and let all the real cowboys go down there and be in the dirty part. But these people, I mean, just think of them. The Green Cattle Company was what it was. And the KeyKeffers and the K4 and the what's the one that Cassoons own? The 7-Up, the 7-Up. Excuse me.
And so when you go down you go down to the FIPN, you should, no matter what you do and no matter what you see, you should go through the Hall of Fame and take a look, because that is Prescott's history.
One of the most cherished items, I think, at the FIPN Museum is the rafters that they burn their brands in when we first opened our doors in 1984. So when we did the expansion project, we brought those beams inside and put them in the Heritage Gallery.
Okay.
Rex, the guy that was the Rex, what's his name?
Hinshaw.
The Hinshaw brothers are the ones that gave that.
Oh, right.
Came from the old American ranch stage
right.
stock.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The old American
Appeal
ranch
poles
stage
out front that Bill Gary brought to us. So some of those things like that.
Yeah.
But again, that indelible mark that the ranch families put on the FIPN Museum, I mean, it's a graphic reminder of the support that the FIPN Museum received to exist at all. So,
another mention of a person that's in the Ranching Cowboy Hall of Fame was the Savawini family.
Yes.
And the last surviving brother passed away, Dr. Jim Savawini. Dear friend. Just a month, 3 weeks ago or something.
Oh, I hadn't heard
and
that. Sorry.
His obituary was in the paper the other day. But dear friend, hunting and roping buddy of Bill's and Ed's uncle,
my
beloved uncle.
brother-in-law's brother.
Yeah. And they were just the year before the Cal Cordes, I think, they were inducted.
We got
in
them
fact,
in there
it was
too.
just after Art Savawini passed.
I'm so proud of both of those things that we were able to
Amen.
do. Is to have that happen.
And the
so
Savawinis had ranches all over the area for years, and then of course, the old grandpa. Papa Connie had the old market and the dairy
and on White's Bar Road.
And of course there was the Savawini's Western Store for so long. So we still have a huge tradition, and there's lots of other members of all of those ranch families that still participate in our town.
Well, there'd be there's a lot of people who move into this town who'd like to see things change or stay the way they want it to. But they have to remember what this town was built on in the first place and why they have this town here in the first place. Go to the FIPN and start figuring it out, folks. Okay, we're going to take our quick last break, and then we're going to wrap things up right after this. back to the KYCA Talks program. Back to the KYCA Talks program. Sorry, we're just on. It's just been one of those days today that we just have too much talking and so much catching up to do that the hour goes by like nothing. So real fast, there's a couple of things we need to touch on. So first, Mary, go.
Go ahead, Mary.
Remember to buy your tickets for the Wishman Monument fundraiser, the Frank Shankwitz Make-A-Wish Man by Robert Aragon. It's a Waylon Jennings concert at Elks Theater on the 29th of May.
Okay, Ed?
Hometown Hoedown,
Yes.
May 24th, 5:30 p.m. at the Fippen Museum, Memorial Day weekend. Tickets are still available, $75 for members, $85 for guests. Lots of fun, Western entertainment, great food, lots of great fine art. The miniature masterpiece show and sale.
It's the old Sam Hills Hardware.
It's at the museum this year. We
sorry.
came back home. We came back home this year, then we got the miniature masterpiece show that's on display through the Memorial Day weekend. Sale by draw is on the Monday morning at 11 o'clock. So if you see something you like, put your intent to purchase in at the museum. You can also look at the catalog online, so you can see all the wonderful pieces we have at the museum on our website, fippenartmuseum.org. And I hope to see you all out at the Memorial Day art show and sale and take Mary's advice and join the Fippen Museum and help support art and culture in our community.
Well, and I want to mention one other family that I forgot, and I apologize deeply.
Yes.
Ron James and the Family Foundation. That first off, Harold James gave the property that the Fippen Museum is on.
Yeah, that's
50 years ago, 60 years ago.
Let Louise pick the spot.
And let Louise pick the on the side of the hill. And Ron has been the major sponsor of the Fippen Museum and the Fippen Art Show. And my husband and I also, we are grateful to him and his family. And they give events his children have given events at the Fippen. So Ron, and they have a great ranch. The Deep Well Ranch. So, and they still have cattle on that ranch, not just houses, guys. There is a ranch there.
The Fippen Museum wouldn't exist without the James
Absolutely,
family.
no, they
That's
wouldn't.
true. And a lot of things in this community for that matter.
Absolutely, YMCA, hospital, all that stuff.
So, folks, as we said, I mean, look around the community. You see the ranching families everywhere. It doesn't matter what you look at. That's what built this community.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's the impact they've had. Yep.
Bill?
Oh, I'm just tickled to be here. I'm looking forward to the show. Our 51st year, is that how long have we been coming? And this just follow up on the museum. I've sent several people, I've talked them into going by the museum. They've said, well, we've driven by it several times but never went. And then later they had told me, thank you for doing that because we didn't know how beautiful that place was inside.
Yep. So take the advice there. You heard it here first, folks. And if you haven't heard it here first, you better take care of it and get it done. Ed, Mary, Bill, thank you for coming.
Thank you,
thanks for
Jason.
having us
so much.
We're thrilled. And get downtown for the show. Get over to the Fippen. Get your membership in. You got a lot to do. So get moving on it. Lisa's coming up next. Back after this. See you, folks. Take care.
Bye.